Hello, my name is Andrea Sheely, and we are in week 7 out of 8. We're going to be talking about part C. So the instructions were to interview a pediatric therapist. I had the lovely opportunity to interview someone I work with. We just met about a month ago. She's been a pediatric therapist for quite a few years now. So we'll dive into the questions. It says, what do you love most about pediatrics? So Kelly's answer to this was getting to work with really interesting kiddos and watching them get excited about being more successful and independent in their activities. It's never boring working with the kids. They have endless energy and generally are excited about school and play. So I love that answer. You can just tell how interested she is in her job and how much she enjoys working with her kiddos. So the second question reads, what surprised you most about pediatrics? So her response was the increased amount of paperwork in the school versus other settings. Kelly is responsible for kids in many different school districts, so she does do a lot of evaluations, kindergarten pre-screening work, a lot of work and extra paperwork that are kind of behind the scenes. A lot of times as a CODA, we don't really see all of that. Her response also included the amount of time it takes to plan and prep for treatment sessions each week. I have noticed this also as I've been working in the school setting. You definitely have to be prepared and on your game, making sure that you're working on activities the kids have never seen before so that they're not bored. They will definitely let you know if they have done something before and they are not really too interested because they've already done it. She also says that they buy their own supplies during school year. So in her setting, in the school setting, they are buying and purchasing all of their own supplies. So if they're using scissors or Play-Doh, all of that is purchased by themselves. Question number 3 reads, what has been the most challenging case you have had thus far? So Kelly says that she was in a situation where the kiddo was very physically involved. She was working with him in his home, and she had worked with him for several years. Most of the time was within the home because the child was physically involved, and that child ended up passing away at age 10. She said that it was very difficult to lose this child. So going into question number 4, what is one myth you hear all the time about pediatrics that you wish you could debunk? And she said, I think parents sometimes feel that if their child gets outpatient services, the outpatient therapist knows more or better than the school therapist because they are paying for those services, the outpatient services. She says what the parents often don't realize is that most of the time, the same therapist who is working in the school setting at one point in time did work in that outpatient hospital type setting also. Question number 5, what advice do you have before you go into a level 2 fieldwork? So Kelly's response was to be open to learning, to be humble. You can learn something from every student and staff member you work with. Ask questions and have fun. She also says always be thinking about task analysis and the prerequisite skills needed for an activity. So the last part of this video includes a couple of questions for myself. The first one was, what was the name of the clinic where your OTR that you interviewed worked? So she worked in a school setting for Allen County ESC. She worked at several different schools. Number 2, as a student, what surprised you most about the OTR's responses to the pediatrics? My biggest surprise was that Kelly had lost a child, a kiddo. I guess I just assumed because the kids were well enough to be in school and they were learning, and I assumed they were kind of thriving in other aspects and being like healthy children. They were just having more issues with fine motor. So I feel like that was definitely a surprise to know that your child, even in the school setting, could pass away. And then finally, what do you find most challenging about pediatrics? So for myself, I've been working in a school-based setting, covering maternity leave for about a month now. And I would just say having to prep and prepare. I have 8 years experience in a skilled nursing facility, and a lot of times we're working on ADL, so everything we already need is there. The patient's clothing, or we go into the bathroom and we work on toileting, the toilet's already there. Everything we need is kind of in our environment, in our setting. So for the kids, and especially in the school setting, making sure that you change it up, but making sure that you have those supplies available. So one day you might be doing painting with a Q-tip. Well, you have to bring those Q-tips from home, or making sure that you have some available at your clinic or the school that you're working at. So just definitely being prepared and being on your game and making it fun and creative for the kids. Thank you. Have a great day.